And now the Hansons and Hiatus podcast with Nate and Alexis.
Happy Friday, fuckers. It's another episode of Hansons on Hiatus, episode number 49. I am your host, Nate, and this is my wife, Alexis.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
And don't forget to support the podcast. Buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. You can buy us some virtual beers, and we will convert them into real beers, and I will convert them into pee.
I'll put them in my tummy.
And don't forget to follow us, subscribe, like all the things, share, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Hansons on Hiatus. We're back.
We're back.
We were never really technically gone because we recorded a couple episodes for when I was out of town for the Super Bowl in Vegas.
Welcome home.
Yeah, thank you.
Bienvenidos.
Yeah, it's been 16 days I was gone.
Feels like you were gone for a month.
Yeah, well, my parents were here, so that probably added.
I've had some company.
So as usual, when we go out of town or I go out of town or whatever, we just kind of jot things down.
Yeah.
Things that had happened or stories or whatever. So we're kind of going to do that. I'm going to tell a couple things about getting to Vegas and being there and a little bit of the Super Bowl. And I got a ton of stories, so this will probably go over the next couple episodes. And then you have some stories about things that you did while I was gone.
Yes, things that happened in play.
Yeah. So, again, if you haven't listened to the last few episodes, I worked the Super Bowl halftime show again, as I usually do. And the way I did it this year was I usually, if I have to fly, which I do now that I live in Mexico,
Can't drive.
I use like airline points or whatever, so I'm not really paying for my flight. And then, like last year, I stayed at my buddy's house in Phoenix, so that didn't cost me anything. But this year, I booked a 2-bedroom apartment on Airbnb, and I just booked it like months ago. And so
early.
So I was splitting it with 3 other people from the group from my team last year because they needed a place to stay. So, cuts down on the cost.
Yeah, perfect.
So anyway, heading there, I got to take the bus. Well, first I rode my bike to the bus.
Yeah.
And then took the bus up to Cancun, and I'm flying Spirit. So, I know a lot of people feel a certain way about them, but we really haven't had a ton of issues other than maybe some delayed flights here and there or whatever. But it's not like we haven't been stranded for like 46 hours in Anchorage or something.
Right. It's not so much, I think everyone thinks like, oh, Spirit, you get what you pay for. No, I mean, it is a budget airline and things do tend to happen. But as we've found out these past few years, it's all the airlines.
Yeah, shit happens everywhere.
Delta, United, JetBlue, there's always delays. There's always, you don't have snacks or you do. There's always something, they're all the same.
Yeah. So
price.
Something always happens. But actually, I think Spirit and Frontier have some of the newest equipment because, they are a budget airline. So they've bought newer planes more recently, like a lot of the shit that's been going on with Delta or whatever it was, Air Alaska or something that the fucking door popped out or whatever. There was some other stuff going on with the Boeing jets with Delta or something, but a lot of their jets and planes and stuff are from like the fucking 70s.
Yeah.
So, and they've just been band-aiding them for the last 40 years. So at least the stuff is new. And that's what I want to say. I flew Spirit up to, I had a layover in Dallas and then Dallas to Las Vegas and flew Spirit. The nicest plane I've ever rode on Spirit. Like
brand new?
The seats were really, it was like brand new, smelled nice, like the leather was new. And this was the one from Cancun to Dallas. So international flight. So usually you get a little bit better of a plane.
Yeah, true. A little more space.
Yeah, and they were playing like elevator music as you got on.
Very
and I think that's like they've used those tactics like in prisons, I've heard that they keep it pretty cold in there. So it because when people get hot, they get agitated and it's supposed to calm them down.
Yeah.
I think they do that. They're probably doing the same thing on Spirit. There is fights often, it seems like, just watching on the internet.
Yeah.
So like the elevator music is probably supposed to like lower the tension and just like relax.
I like it. Even when you're getting off the plane, why do you want like dead silence and you can just hear everybody like, it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Have some elevator music.
Exactly.
Everyone enjoys it.
But the Airbnb I just booked it for like dates I thought would have, like where we would have to be in Vegas. So it actually didn't line up correctly with my flight because my flight, it was cheaper to fly in like the day before. So I had to find a hotel for that night and then the last 2 nights because everybody else was going home.
Right.
So the and I've been looking forever, and I was trying to find one pretty cheap, and we talked about how it sucks with like the resort fees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I eventually found this one. And it's called Ellis Island Hotel, Casino, and Brewery.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So I'm like, all right, speaking my language.
Yes. Okay.
And it actually, even though it looked like, it wasn't like a big giant resort like the Bellagio or something like
Yeah.
that, but it had the best reviews. Like I was looking at the budget hotels, and some of them were like, 6-star, or it's like 6 out of 10 or what, I don't know the stars,
Oh, gotcha.
but this one was 8, even though it was like a little older looking kind of. And I asked my buddy that lives in Vegas, and he's like, oh yeah, it's the old Super 8 or something. So I was like, oh, okay, I know what I'm getting into. It's just like, whatever. So, but it has a hot tub and a pool.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, all right. And the
Sign
pools,
me up.
I guess, are closed in Vegas right now because it's winter.
season,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're, seasonal. But hot tubs open year round. So that's,
Sure.
the great thing about that. Yeah, so as soon as I land in Vegas, God, what time was it? I feel like it was late. It was like maybe 10 or something.
Yeah.
And I just have the Uber take me directly to the dispensary. Like first things first, I don't know how walkable this hotel is going to be. So I have me taken to the dispensary. I get some pre-rolls and some gummies and a cartridge and shit like that. So I'm all set.
All set for the 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, and then I go and check into the hotel, and it ended up being like $50-$60 or something for the night.
Oh,
So
great.
it wasn't terrible.
Not too bad.
Um,
Not super cheap, but not,
yeah. Well, it's hard because they add the fucking $40 or $30 resort fee or whatnot. Yeah.
Even though it's not a resort.
Yeah. So I'm like, I got the best place. I got this, 8 out of 10 star reviewed place. It has a brewery. It has a hot tub. And it has like a restaurant and everything because it's connected to like a little tiny casino.
Oh, nice.
It has like 3 different restaurants. It has a barbecue place.
Ooh.
It has a beer garden.
Wow.
It had a pizza place and something else.
Like
Just kind of like a diner kind of
Checks
thing.
all your boxes.
Yeah, I was like, this is fucking fantastic.
I don't have
So
to leave.
I get there, check in, and I go. My room's very nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's just like the linens are clean, the room smells good. It just like they must have just gutted the whole place and like remodeled it because
Oh,
it
that's
looks
good.
great on the inside. And I
was thinking the
go
opposite.
and I'm like, I'm gonna go smoke one of my joints. So I go outside and I sit there in the smoking section. I'm smoking one of my joints and I see the hot tub and I was like, oh, and the bubblers are growing and everything. And I
Oh,
go
good.
over to it because I was like, I'm gonna go sit by it and smoke. Open the door, it's locked.
Oh.
And I look up and there's a chain around it.
Oh, no.
And I was like, maybe it's just closed because it was like 10 at night or something.
Yeah.
So I go to the front desk and I go, hey, what's up with the pool? Or I mean with the hot tub. And he goes, oh, it's closed for the season or something. And I was like, but
Season.
it's a hot
cold.
tub. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah. Like he seemed like weird, like there was something else. Like maybe maybe there's like glass in the pool or something like that.
Weird.
Um
But it was like on and bubbling.
Yeah,
So you'd think it's closed for the evening.
yeah, and the pool had water in it too. So neither one of them are drained or anything. So
Weird.
very weird.
Hmm.
So I was like, all right. So I smoked the joint. I'm gonna go inside and get something to eat. And I go to the pizza place. And for Vegas, the slices of pizza were $3.50,
Oh,
which is
nice.
great because
That's
like
great.
things were expensive in Vegas.
I'm sure.
So I was like, oh, this is fantastic. So I get 2 slices of pizza, and I'm like, I was like, oh, how about the beer or whatever? Like, where's the brewery at? And they go, oh, the brewery's not here anymore. And I was like, what?
No, strike 2.
Yeah, I was like, what? No. So
Where'd
I
it
go.
go?
Yeah, so I go and I get a Bud Light at the bar, and that was one of the reasons I booked there because I looked on the website and it was like happy hour all day every day. All the beers that they make are $4. So like, oh, that's great.
That's why the brewery isn't there anymore.
Yeah, right. Oh my god. So then I go to the bar and I order I was like, give me like a Bud Light or something. I was trying to find something cheap,
Yeah.
and it was like $6 or $7.
Oh my God.
I was like, Jesus. I was like, this is terrible. This is not working out.
Is this a Bud Light IPA
Yeah.
or what is this?
And so then I was like, all right. And then I see the beer garden thing kind of open,
Yeah.
and but it was like closing or something. I don't know. So I was like, oh, so I'm just gonna go back to the room. So I go back to my room, my nice clean room,
Oh, no.
and I lay down on the bed, and just that when you've been traveling all day, and that feeling where you're just like, you
Thank
take your
God.
socks off, and there was something wrong with my room.
Oh no.
What do you think was wrong?
Oh God. Was there like hair on the wall or the pillow or stains or something or like cigarette burns in the in the top comforter thing or something?
Close.
Oh.
So
Oh, no.
I go to watch TV and I grab the remote, turn on the power button, and then I go to change it and I look down at the remote and there's jizz on the remote.
Are you sure that's what it was? Okay, actually,
I'm pretty sure, unless somebody was eating some glazed donuts in bed.
No.
Yeah.
Did you immediately throw it across the room?
No, I just made sure that I will never press the key 4 or 7.
Oh my God, no! You didn't even like wipe it off.
No,
Oh.
that's not my job.
But you're still using it.
I know. I just avoid keys 4 and 7.
Didn't I send you with handy wipes to wipe things
I'm
down?
not cleaning some dude's jizz off of my remote control. That's
But
why
you're still-
I draw the line there, Alexis. I draw it there.
But you're still holding the remote with the jizz on it.
Yeah, I'm not touching it.
But you are.
I've been near plenty of semen.
What if you could? It's all over. You just couldn't
Mine,
see
but,
it.
You know, just to be clear.
Anyway.
Yeah. So
it's still there. It still has.
it's still there
the
to
jizz on
this day.
it. Be like my stay was wonderful. You might want to clean the controllers sometimes.
But the great thing was the next morning. Well, nothing great about that.
No.
But the next morning. And it had a fridge and
Microwave
and a microwave.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cheap ones.
Yeah. But yeah, the greatest thing was I went to the restaurant the next morning for breakfast. I got this giant skillet and all the the toppings and everything, and it was like $10 or something. So all the food's really good there and really cheap.
Oh, sweet.
And I said, "Well, what kind of beers do you got on tap?" And he goes, "Well, we have the all the Ellis Island Brewing beers." And I go,
Excuse me?
"Really?" And I was like, I asked the lady at the pizza place and said that they shut down the brewery or whatever. And he goes, "Oh yeah, we just shut it down here. We just moved it to another city. So we brew the beer in like the next town over and we just bring it in here." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
That makes a lot more
So
sense.
they have, kind of your standard, just, porter, pale ale, IPA, Pilsner or whatever. All $4. The IPA was delicious.
Oh, yeah.
So I had many a beers there.
Why does nobody know what's going on?
I know.
You work there. You don't know that, the brewery isn't here, but we still have their beer.
Yeah.
We still sell their
Yeah,
beer.
like a little bit more information.
Yeah.
Come on.
There is still beer.
Yeah.
Or when you ordered a beer and asked them originally and got the Bud Light.
Yeah.
Or we have all these craft
So I paid
beers.
like almost double for a Bud Light when I
Yeah.
could have got, this IPA
craft
for
beer.
4. Yeah, I was like, Jesus.
That makes no sense.
But anyway, I'll probably get to this later, but I ended up, the last 2 nights, I ended up staying at the same place.
Nice. Okay.
Just because I liked it so much. And
Yeah.
it was like 10 minutes from the airport. So if
And
you're looking
cheap.
for a good, cheap place to stay and it has a casino, like you can gamble in there. Like I said, they have 3 different restaurants, the brewery and everything.
Yeah.
And they have a giant beer garden.
That's awesome.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, your pictures were great. It was like, how did they not know about that?
Yeah, who knows? But
Beer garden's gone.
yeah. So, and if you listen to the last episode or the episode before, how I was talking about what to do with the Airbnb and Roberta and Angela
Yeah,
sleeping on the
how to
couch
split
and
the cost.
Juan and everything like that. So it ended up working out kind of perfectly. So last minute, Roberta's son gets COVID
Oh, no.
and was in the hospital.
Oh,
And
oh,
so
no.
she's like, I can't go anymore, guys.
Yeah.
And then she ended up, fast forward, she ended up getting COVID as well.
shit.
Lost her sense of taste and smell and everything like that.
no.
So she was out. So
Poor
it was like a little bit easier because then it was me in my room, Juan in the other room, and then Angela on the couch. And I kind of let her, and Juan was concerned about it. He's like, well, I want the room back if,
My
she's
deal was with Roberta, not Angela.
Exactly, because he stayed on Roberta's couch. So, so I kind of had to play like the manager of the situation, be like, "Hey, I just wanted it to be clear when we get there, like Juan wants his room back because he was trying to pay this favor to her." And she's like, "Oh no, that's totally cool. Like, I'm just glad to have a place to stay or whatever."
That's great.
But then when she was out, we had to figure out how we're going to split the extra $250 that was her section.
Oh, yeah.
So Juan was cool, and he talked to me. He's like, I don't think we should split it 3 ways because she's sleeping on the couch the whole time.
Right.
And so we decided, since it was like $250, I pay 100, Juan pays 100, she paid 50. So
Oh, that's good.
she got like a little bit of a discount.
Yeah,
for
sure.
not having to, or for having to sleep on the couch.
Yeah, but again, last minute, she could have had nowhere, and then she couldn't go.
Yeah.
You
So yeah, I'm gonna bounce around, like I said, just a couple stories and stuff. One of the cool moments, rehearsing with the Super Bowl. So we rehearse couple days by ourselves just to like, meet our team. And we call pieces of the stage carts. So they're like the stage breaks off into, multiple pieces, and they have these giant tires on them and stuff. And they're heavy. Like ours is like, I can't remember, it was like 10 or 18,000 pounds or something insane. And so you need like, 15 people on each cart.
To, like, push it.
So you get into your teams, and we got a lot of our same team members from last year, like me, Juan, Angela were on the same one, and they have this other couple friend from California, and then there was these other 2 girls that were on our team last year and stuff. So we had a good amount of people that knew what they were doing.
Nice.
But first couple days, you just kind of train the new people and show them how to do the different maneuvers, because you can't just like, just turn left. No, it's like if you're turning like a certain direction, the people on the backside of the cart on the direction you want to turn have to push that way, and then you have to push it the other way, just like, like kind of like driving a boat almost, you got to know which way to turn into things and stuff. But then the first day that we rehearsed with the dancers and Usher and everybody, we're like, oh shit, he's that. Like he came actually the day before we were supposed to start rehearsing with him.
Oh,
like,
that's great.
yeah, he was out there. And so we put the stage together, and they all rehearse, and then we go down and take it apart and to put it back together again, and then they rehearse again, things like that.
Nice.
So when the first time we went down there to take the stage apart, he was getting down, and because he was taking off his roller skates and stuff, which I don't think enough people were talking about that. Like, you had a fucking A-list artist up there on fucking roller skates,
singing and dancing on roller skates.
Yeah,
People did not give him enough credit.
Mm-hmm. Prince would have done that.
Yeah, right? No, he probably did.
Yeah, actually, he probably would.
Or pregnant Rihanna. Like, give these celebrities a break. They're like killing themselves out there, and everybody's like, I could do that. You could not.
Yeah, exactly. But it was cool. So like our cart was cart 19, which held the band equipment, like the guitar, the drum set, the keyboards, like all that. So ours is like the fucking heaviest one.
Did you touch
but
it?
It's the
You're
coolest
like,
one. Oh yeah, like I was right by the drum kit.
Oh, nice.
But then Usher was coming off the stage, and the stairs are right by our thing, and he goes in this little tent to change and everything, and then he comes back out, and one of our guys, like Jay, I think it's Jay, he yelled to him. He's like, hey, good job or whatever, and he turned around, came back over to us, and like gave us all fist bumps and like high fives and stuff.
Oh
Like,
my God.
he was super cool.
So you touched Usher.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, like the first day I gave him like a fist bump, so that was pretty cool. But there was this one thing. So we were, we know who the surprise guests were, that were coming out, but I obviously can't say anything because we signed NDAs and stuff. But we were all in the back at one point. And those big black boxes that they have for like band equipment, like the big
like
trunks,
the cases,
and it has like the name spray painted in white, like what band it is or whatever.
Yeah.
We were in the back, and I go to Juan, I go, don't say anything, but there's a box over there that says Justin Bieber on it.
Oh.
So the whole time, and one of the other guys, Zach, that was with us, that lives in Vegas, and he's new this year. We look at the box, and we're like, oh yeah, dude. So the whole time we thought Bieber was going to be there, like the entire, because we're like, why else would Justin Bieber's like equipment box be in the back of the Super Bowl stadium if he wasn't going to be there, and he's friends with Usher obviously and all that. So we're like, oh
yeah, didn't he like give Bieber his start? Like, I knew he was on YouTube, but Usher kind of like took him under his wing.
Yeah, and he gave him like, I think his first contract or got him his first deal or something like that. So he's been like his mentor basically. I think.
You think he'd be there?
Yeah, so that's why we're like, oh, duh, that's going to be the special guest. Yeah. And obviously, after watching it, it was not. So we were like trying to figure out, like, what the fuck? Why would his box be? The only thing I can think is maybe since they're friends, maybe his crew sold some boxes to Usher's crew, and they just hadn't changed the name on it or something like that.
Or maybe like one of the, because they always have like code names for things, like production things. So maybe that was like the Justin Bieber box is like an inside joke. Like it's something about a song or something smaller.
But it's weird because we're all in the know. So like we know there's no surprises. Like when a guest pops out and surprises, like we've all known for weeks, Do
you guys like cheer? Like what? So when you come to practice and then they're like, okay, this is what's happening. Are you guys all like, yay? Like, Alicia Keys is going to be out there.
Oh, we generally know. Like we know they're like going to be rehearsals with the artists, and then there's dress rehearsals a couple days before. But when we come there, the first couple days or the first like week of practices are just running through, like putting it together, breaking it apart, putting it together, breaking it apart, just to get it as quick as possible. Because we only have between 6 and 7 minutes tops to get it out there. I think it's 6 to get it out, put together, all all the cables and everything hooked together, and then 7 on the backside.
Jesus, like
bringing
taking it out.
Yeah.
Oh my
So when
gosh.
we go there, like, so we know when the artists are there, but those are actually kind of the more, not boring days, but like we're doing the least amount of activity because we're in the stadium. Sometimes we practice outside of the stadium and then eventually move into the stadium. But this one, we were in the stadium the whole time, which is great because it was cold and rainy in Vegas. By the way, fuck Vegas weather in February.
Yeah,
it was
it's
terrible.
Cold and snowy and rainy.
Yeah, I was so cold. I'm glad I brought like one pair of jeans and a couple jackets because Jesus.
Rest in peace, jeans.
Yeah, but so when we're doing rehearsals with the dancers and the artists, we have the pieces outside the stadium. We bring them in, we put them together.
Mm-hmm.
Then the dancers and the artists practice over and over again. So we sit there for like 3 or 4 hours just waiting
while they're doing.
Yeah, while they're doing it, and we can't like leave until they're done because we have to take it apart and get it back off the field.
So you're sitting there. I know you said you see the show 100 more times than before we see it, but are you watching them practice? Are you sitting there?
Yeah,
or
we're
do they kinda tuck
literally
you
in the
guys
stands,
away?
like, and we always look up the seats that we're sitting in, and we're like, oh, this seat's going for 15,000 or whatever. But my point was just like, we like cheer and stuff. Like when they get done, like when they run through the show and they're done, we're all like, woo, like we clap and everything, and
that's awesome.
But there is a lot of downtime and a lot of sitting, and you can't have your phones because they either tell you to not bring your phone or they have these things called yonder pouches. And it's like when you go to the concerts and they lock your phone up, it's the same thing. So you can't have your phone on you. So you're literally like and that's why everybody becomes such good friends, is because we're sitting there for like
talking.
3-4 hours a day just talking because it's like old school. Like we don't have a phone to like dick around on or anything. So you're getting to really know these people.
That's so funny. I think that's the number one question I get. Well, I got a lot of questions every time you do this. Like, oh, what is he doing for the Super Bowl? Is the podcast there? People think everything and anything. And then I tell them exactly what you're doing. And I don't think people think that far enough ahead. Like, oh yeah, there's a couple thousands of, people putting this show together. They're not thinking of that. I'm like, he's part of that to get it ready for these artists and then to break it down and take it away. Like they couldn't. I don't know, just the average person. And being in radio, you get that more, and I understand that more now. But that was like a really big question. Your dad kept asking me, well, he's not responding on his phone. What's he doing? I'm like, he's practicing. And then when he's not practicing, he's sitting there and they lock up their phones because they can't give away anything before the halftime show.
Yeah. And the practices range from like Saturday, we're there like 9 a.m. till 2:30 p.m. Ugh. Some Wednesday and Thursday, or no. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before the Super Bowl, we were 6 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Ooh. And then we were like 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. then 6:30 to 11 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. And it's harder for me because a lot of people come over from California, so they're like same time zone, but I'm 3 hours back. So when we get out at 11:30 p.m., that's 2:30 a.m. for me, you know.
I'm tired.
And then I'm waking up at like 5 a.m. because it's like 8 a.m. our time, you know. And so I never really adjusted. And then we're also trying to like go do things and stuff. So my inner clock is just like all fucked up.
Oh,
you know?
Sure.
So I mean, like today I woke up at like 10 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
It's gonna take
but that's like 7 a.m. to me because I was kind of adjusted, but kind of not at the same time. And I kept on having to tell Juan that when he wanted to go do something, it would be like 9 o'clock, and I was like, bro, like it's like midnight for me, you know, like I'm you know, I'm still adjusting to this kind of thing. So that was cool. The practices were great. Oh, I wanted to tell, like, a lot of people ask me how they can do this or like how do I get into it or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not. I know everybody wants to. It's not as easy as you think. You have to either have a very cool job or a special a cool job that would let you take off time, or a special job like a remote job where you can work while you're there or something.
Yeah, work from anywhere.
Because it is a paid thing. So you get paid while you're there. They feed you every practice. You get Panera like catered and stuff like that. But you have to pay your own way to get there. You have to pay for your own lodging, and you have to be able to take over 2 weeks off of work. Yeah. So that's kind of the reason why it's hard to get, or, you know, it's hard for it to be available to everybody, you know,
Right.
and you know, like unless you live there. And that's why I started, because it was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was just going on, and I had a different job, you know, working at the radio. So I was done by like noon every day.
Ugh.
So I could go and do stuff in the evening.
I remember that you do the radio show all morning in Atlanta, like 5 a.m. till, you know, you'd come home at like 1 or 2, and then at nap, and then at night you'd go for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, that was like the most tired I've ever been. 'Cause-
And they said I remember you saying they fed you better food. Like it was different every day. Like,
oh yeah, it was
we
like
got this and
Payway,
that.
or it was this or that. Yeah, it was like Panera every day this time. But and then also they want people that have done this before. So like if you've
Yeah.
done it a few times, like there's people that have been doing it for like 20 years.
That's crazy.
They're gonna get in before everybody else. And same thing, like, you know, we've been doing it over and over. So they wait till the end to like, hey, we need, you know, 20 more people for the newer people or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's hard to get in, but they're going to take the people that have done it before first over people that have never done it. So it's a very cool experience, but it's not as easy as be like, oh, just go to the Super Bowl. Like, no, you got to be there for 2 fucking weeks
Yeah.
and leave your family, your house, you know, you got to pay for everything there. And, you know, it's a great experience, but a lot of the people that do it, they will use their 2 weeks off of work for the year,
Ugh.
like their vacation time.
What?
That's it. They use it all there. So
Oh
if you're
my
comfortable with doing that,
No.
you know, let me know and you can message me. But yeah, it's fun.
You even like asked me, why don't you sign up and we'll go to Vegas and do it together? And I was like, it sounds like a lot of work. No, I'd rather.
You could have done it.
That's your thing. I could have done it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's what I was trying to get you to come up there, even if
That's what
just
I'm
to hang
saying.
out. you
Yeah,
know?
I know, but I
But
was
my
like,
parents are in town and stuff.
I
Yeah,
got
so
things here.
but so we went to opening night of the Super Bowl, and I really didn't know what this thing was until like last year.
Yeah.
But it's this event, and it kind of seems like it's aimed at, maybe it's the NFL's way of like getting you close to the game without being able to afford to go to the game.
Yeah.
So a lot of families go, like, you know, parents with their kids and stuff that love the players. And you go to the stadium and you sit in the seats and everything. And on the field, the teams come out, or there might be some entertainment. And then, you know, like everybody cheers for the teams. And then they have these boxes. And the first one team comes out. Like I think the Chiefs came out first. And like kind of the star players that all the media wants to talk to sit down. And they each have like a little mic'd up area. And you can see it on TV. My mom watched it on TV.
We watched it. It
Oh,
was
did you?
funny.
Okay, yeah. And they got 1 hour, 60 minutes, and all the reporters can just fire questions at them. And it's cool in the crowd. There's this NFL One Pass app or something, and you can put headphones in and you can click on the different players and hear what they're saying, even though you're in the stadium. So
Cool.
like you can hear the answers to their
Oh,
question.
God, I feel like it'd be so loud you wouldn't even be able to hear it with like earphones.
Yeah, but
Headphones.
it was funny. Like the kids are just yelling like for like George Kittle, George, Brock. And they're just screaming, and like they're doing interviews like 300 yards or like
Yeah.
100 yards away or whatever,
Can't
and it's like
hear
they can't hear,
you.
and they're not going to stop in the interview
Yeah.
to like wave at you or
Hold
something.
on, this kid's yelling my name. Hey.
Yeah, so but it's really cool to like be for people that probably can't afford to go to the game to be able to see the players like from
Yeah.
stadium seats, like where you were like you're at the game. So I do like the event. But one of the I was gonna say is, so when they're all answering questions, when the 49ers went second, and when the 60 minutes was up, I was looking at all the media boxes, and all of them were gone except for Brock Purdy. And he stayed there, and that's what I was Midwest nice. He's an
Yeah.
Iowa boy.
Midwest
And
nice.
he stayed there and answered everybody's question, and like
Aw.
until they were, you know, done for another like 10 minutes or something. So
Yeah.
I just thought that was a cool thing, like observation of him.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice guy. I'm really can't believe it. Sorry they didn't win.
I know.
So sorry.
I didn't really care either way. Like I like the Chiefs, and I also now I like the 49ers because of Brock Purdy going to Iowa State. So like
Yeah.
either way, I would have been, you know, happy for
He had
whatever
a good
team.
story though. They were the underdog,
Yeah.
or he was. So that would have been great to see that.
I just like the Chiefs because like
yeah.
the Midwest teams never do like super great, you know. So
Yeah.
just to have like a team in the middle of the Midwest, you know,
Yeah.
close to Iowa or whatever, doing well,
yeah.
you know,
Either one to win was great.
and everybody loved Mahomes when he was a rookie, and
Yeah.
he's like this new fresh guy. But as soon as he's getting into that like Tom Brady effect, if you do too good for too long, you got to be torn down by the public for some reason. You know?
You're winning too much. On to the next one.
Or like with what's his name yelling at Andy Reid, Kelsey or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit over the top, but we were like, that's no way to act like clench my pearls. Like, bitch, he's playing a sport where you're running like head first into people. It's a violent,
it's an
dangerous, aggressive sport. So he's fired up. What maybe it was handled wrong or whatever, but like, and also, I think people are comparing like a coach player relationship to like a high school, like that. Maybe that's what they relate to.
Yeah.
These are grown men. He's making millions of dollars to do the game. He's going over there like, give me the fucking ball or put me in or whatever.
Like, what are you doing?
You know, like he wants to win. And also like it's his job. So he's like, you know, it'd be like going to your boss and be like, give me the project. I will get it done. You know, like, was he a little like intense? Yeah, but it's also a fucking aggressive sport. So, you know, he's not at the opera or something.
And I think, too, it's just the way he looks. Like, if he looked like the coach, people would, they're just yelling at each other. He's like a big, burly dude, like, yelling. But
and people want to hate on him because he's associated with Taylor. So anything you can do to tear him down. I saw a lot of people, he's going home to beat his girlfriend or whatever. It's like, it's like, he got upset, you know, whatever.
Can we, like, all leave Taylor Swift alone? If you don't want her in football, stop talking about her. And she's just supporting her boyfriend and supporting women in sports. Like, calm down. Just like go with it.
Yeah.
It's Taylor Swift. We're all getting that upset about a pop teen. I know she's not a teen anymore, but she's a pop teen star. Just like Britney Spears or whatever, you know, like calm down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not anymore. She's like Miley. Like she was a teeny bopper star, but now she's a full you know, artist. Yeah. A woman.
A woman.
But with our team, so on my kart team.
Yeah.
So we come into practice the day after the opening night ceremony, and when we were in line for the opening night, the previous night, me and Angela were like in the back line. Juan was there super fucking early in the very front, so whatever. So we were waiting for the line to die down, and while we were walking away, there was these three people from our kart, and it was this dad, the wife, and the daughter, and he's been doing the Super Bowl for 23 years. Oh, so like they've been there forever, whatever. And he was wearing our credentials that we get, but from last year. And I was like, what do you got your credentials on? Yeah. And he's like, they're expired. It doesn't matter. He's like, but if it gets me somewhere, whatever. And I was like, okay, what, you know,
it gets you somewhere. Oh.
So the next day when we came in, we were down three people from our cart. And we're like, what happened? So one of our other cart members, Michelle, she is like friends with the guy, Rick, and she's like, they all got banned. They all got kicked out and banned for life.
For life?
He's been doing it for 23 years, and he got banned for life because
what were they doing?
Because they used their credentials from last year to get down onto the floor where the media was, where they're doing all the interviews with the football players. Got caught. They called our bosses big bosses, and they were like, they're done. Revoke their shit. Do whatever. So they're stuck there in Vegas for the next week or whatever with a place to stay. They can't be in the Super Bowl like that. It was,
That really sucks. Why would you do that? What were they doing? Were they trying to take something or just
no? They just wanted to be down on the field, like down on the floor. It's like when I would be in the media area. It was like that, but they like used their old credentials to get in.
I hope they didn't get the guy in trouble that let him down who didn't realize these are old credentials, which doesn't it have the Super Bowl logo on it or something?
Yeah, that's like the dumbest thing. Like you should have worn them, but in his mind you were like, they're expired, so it's not like I'm using my credentials to get in. It's like it's his fault that he didn't look at them correctly when I got in initially.
It's like I have cred, but it's expired.
Yeah, but he thought like if he wore his current ones, like, oh, those are active and I'm using that to deceive them. If I'm using my expired one, they're just fucking up themselves and it's not my fault. I think that was his mindset or something. But
sounds
dumb, bad idea.
Very dumb.
Anyway, so that's a couple things from the Super Bowl. Lex, you went to the wedding that we've been talking about with Mindy that I wasn't able to go to.
Yes,
how was that?
It was amazing. It was the best beach wedding I've ever been to, which I've been to a couple.
Nice.
But it was great. They missed you, of course, Mindy and Tyler. But congratulations again. They did great. It was wonderful. Your mom and I.
How'd you get there?
Your mom and I took a taxi up there. Actually, I'm pretty sure we told the story. This was, last year around this time. Your mom came down. Long story short, she dropped her her passport in her condo right before she left. Took a taxi up to the airport. Realized she didn't have her passport on her. The guy that called his buddy and Playa taxi driver, another taxi driver, was like, hey, we'll pay you, bring this passport up. And we like packaged it up and sent it up to her. So she got both of their names, Tafoya, and I can't remember the other guy's name. But anyway, so she has these taxi drivers saved in her phone. And I was like, hey, why don't you message them? You should have like, like this is your guy. These are your guys. You have them saved. Use them for reoccurring trips, like to and from the airport. Maybe they'll give you a better deal. They'll remember you more. So I was like, why don't you reach out to him, see if he can get us a deal to the Hard Rock Hotel, and then pick us up, like schedule a ride. That would be great. She's like, oh, that's a good idea. Messages him, totally in it. 500 pesos each way.
Ooh, that's nice.
Really good deal. Because like the taxi drivers outside say 450, but this is like, pre-scheduled. We only tipped him like a little bit more. Really nice, on time. Everything was great. So that worked out really, really well. Especially, I was like, I wanted to make sure we had a taxi driver on the way home because I knew we'd be drunk from all day.
Wait, they say 450 to Puerto Aventuras?
450 there now. They have like this whole little.
I feel like that's cheap. Because it's further than Xcaret, and Xcaret's like four or five, I think.
True. The groom paid 600 coming here from the Hilton to Playa, but they screwed him. Which I'm mad at the Hilton, or not the Hilton, the Hard Rock Hotel for not helping him get a better taxi.
Well, that's their deal. They have a deal with the taxi place because nobody else can come into the hotel. There's no options.
I was like, you go back and tell him that they screwed you. He was like,
they don't know any better, and they're saying it an expensive all-inclusive, so that's a good deal to them.
True.
But yeah.
So we use your mom's connections. He picks us up right outside, drops us off, is really nice. He's like great driver, speaks, English, Spanish, whatever, super. So we get there, super fun day. We check in. We actually, I don't think I even told you when we checked in. We go up and they're like, oh, okay, we have your reservation here. We need your IDs. I give my Mexican resident ID. She gives her Iowa ID. And he's looking at him for a while. And I'm like, should I not give him my Mexican ID? Should I have given that? Because we're not getting like a locals discount there. We're getting like the wedding day pass from Mindy and Tyler's wedding. Sorry. So we go up there, give him the IDs. And he's like, it's taken forever. And then he's like, so we have the reservation for Alexis and Nate Hanson. They looking at us like, who's Nate? And I was like, oh, I'm Alexis, but this is Nate's mom. I said you were sick. I was just like, he's sick. He can't make it. This is his mom. Same name, whatever. And he was just like this was going to be a big to-do. It wasn't. It was great. He got a manager, came over, fixed it. It was perfect. I think they looked happier that it was two women and not, like a younger couple or whatever. So we got there. Went right to the pool, right to the pool bar. We were like, what would Nate do? Got a drink, found a spot at the pool right by the music and like all the, activities and stuff going on. Had some lunch. They had a buffet lunch bar there by the pool. Ooh. Chicken fingies, wings. I'm
so jealous.
Tacos. I know. I was like, we have to get our money's worth. That's what Nate would do. Like, keep eating, keep drinking. We met some people from the wedding party. That was fun. So we go, we're like, watching the pool all day, and I'm like, okay, so the wedding's at 5. We should probably start getting ready about 3:30, knowing us. Like, let's get up at 3:30 and get some more snacks and go whatever. And then all of a sudden in the pool, one of those, like foam parties starts happening that we've had at like the Hilton. There's just foam everywhere. They start blowing up those like long balloons. Kids are going crazy. Everyone's jumping and diving in the pool. And then you see like they're doing these dances, like bachata dances and all these different songs. And then all of a sudden comes out Slash with the friggin' foam thing. They got Slash out there with a top hat doing the foam cannon on everybody. Michael Jackson shows up, and I think
Slash from Guns N' Roses.
Well, yeah, but like fake Slash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's the Hard Rock Hotel.
El Slash.
Yeah, we're like, why are these musicians? Oh, we're at the Hard Rock Hotel.
Right.
So it's
that
like
makes
fake
sense.
Michael Jackson. Marilyn Monroe was out there, and I don't know. The characters they had were really weird, but they're all like in the foam party with all these kids and like adults and stuff. So it was hilarious. We were cracking up. Then we have to go get ready for the wedding, and we're like meeting some people, but we weren't sure. Originally we were going to go to someone's room and get ready there. Tyler's like, oh, one of my friends, Mindy too. She's like, we'll figure out who you can get with somebody, and we'll get you in the room to get ready. once everybody realized the whole wedding party had to start getting ready like before us, they all start splitting off. We just keep turning around and there's like less and less people, and everyone has pretty much left us except a couple girls that are in other rooms and they're drunk and they don't know where to go. Like, so we're left with that crowd. We're just sitting there like, oh no, what do we do? And I'm like, bathroom. They have nice bathrooms by the pool, those huge, double long bathrooms. So we go in there and there's other girls from the wedding getting ready in there, like getting dressed. And we're like, oh, okay, we'll just get dressed in here. So we're all getting dressed. People are walking in and out to go into the bathroom. We're like, hey, people have like curling irons out and makeup all over the counter. And we're just all sharing tips and getting dressed. So I got ready with your 60-some-year-old mom in a pool bathroom for a wedding.
That's great.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, but you had a good time.
The wedding was great. The ceremony, everybody's crying. I was crying. Your mom was crying. It was beautiful.
Okay.
It was wonderful. The reception was the best. The Hard Rock knows how to do it right. They brought out this huge, like, pieced light up dance floor onto the beach area, and all the tables were out there. So we were like right on the beach.
Yeah,
line,
I saw
right
the
on
pictures and
coastline.
videos. It looks nice.
It was amazing. They played great music. They had shots. They had beers. Like, they wanted you to drink there. They just kept like drink. So by the time we were leaving, the wedding ended at like 10. We were very happy that we had a taxi.
Yeah,
we were
I
very
bet.
lucky. We were like, oh God, how do we make it to the front of the hotel to find our taxi
Nice.
ride?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but it was a good time.
Oh, good. All
Yeah.
right. Well, the wedding worked out. Me going to Vegas worked out.
It
so,
did.
All right. I'm
Oh, I
glad.
will say, last wedding story, we went to go get our IDs from the front
The front
desk
desk.
before we were leaving. We were like, let's not forget our IDs. And I had set an alarm for 10 o'clock. Don't forget your IDs. And as we're leaving, it goes off and we're like, IDs.
Oh, shit.
We were going to
Smart.
leave. Oh my God. So we go up to the front, get our IDs, and your mom's like, my wallet's missing. We're like, oh no. We're like, did we leave it here earlier? And the guy's like, no. So we're like, oh my God. We're like, what do we do? I'm not in any of the wedding groups. I don't want to bother the bride and groom
On their wedding night.
on their wedding night. And even though they were going out after, and we're like, we're not allowed to go on the rest of the hotel property. We're going to go. We've drank enough today. Tyler messages me, hey, one of the girls at your table found the wallet. It was on the ground in the sand. She had
Oh
found
my
it. They were like
God.
looking for something else under the table, saw the blue wallet and knew, hey, this is Nate's mom. Jackie, this is Nate. Like one of the girls that knew you, I guess.
Thank God.
Messages her. We like run in the Hard Rock. She's running halfway because they're all the way on like the blue side, and we're in
Right.
the beginning of the red side. Run and meet each other, and I just hug her like, thank you so much. We would have had to come back there tomorrow. Oh my God, it was great.
God. Last time she was here, she forgot her passport.
I mean, that both accidents. She was tipping the guy that was religiously bringing us beers all night, like aggressively bringing us beers all night. But then I guess she had it on her lap, and when we stood up to leave or to cheer for something, it must have fallen on the ground. So
God. Well, crisis averted.
we got it. Thank God. Oh my gosh. It would have
Yeah.
been so much worse if she didn't have it.
Oh, I bet.
Those are all my wedding stories.
Nice. Oh no, sounds fun.
It was
I'm
like-
sad I missed it, but I'm glad I did what I did too.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
glad you did. They understood. They wished you were there, but there was so much going on. I don't even know if they knew.
I probably
who
would
was
have been
there.
sad if I went and because you said you didn't get to talk to him much, right?
Yeah, we talked to
Which is normal for a wedding,
yeah.
you know.
They
but
walked around the tables. We were dancing with them on the dance floor, but
Okay, okay.
you're not. We're not part of the
yeah,
wedding
I was just saying
party.
I would have been sad if I didn't go to the Super Bowl, but then went to the wedding and I only got to see them for like a minute or something, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't get to hang out with them at the pool that day. I mean, girls get ready. The
Yeah,
bride's
of
getting ready
course.
at like 9 a.m. So, but
Yeah.
then the guys are all at the pool. That's not fair. I said the same thing at my wedding. Nate was chilling by the pool getting drunk, and I'm stressing out getting ready.
Yeah, well, makeup, man.
I know.
All right, well that's a good amount of story. We still have a bunch more stories for next week.
Yes.
So I will cover. If you saw some of my videos on Instagram, I was part of the dance team
Yes.
in the Super Bowl. I was on the fucking stage, so I will talk about how that happened.
Yes, I love it.
So make sure you tune in next Friday for that episode.
Are you going to be a Usher backup dancer now?
I just might. I just might.
That would be great.
But as usual, don't forget to support the podcast. buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on hiatus. Follow, subscribe, like, share, tell all your friends. Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Podcasts, all the things.
All the things.
Hansons on hiatus. But thank you for listening. We will catch you next Friday. Happy Friday, fuckers.
Happy Friday, fuckies.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now. Bye.